This morning I was gonna do some tilling, work on some deer plot stuff, but you know who, there he goes, don't run off. You know who decided he wanted to get sprayed by a skunk. So, that being said, he had his first bath. I stink now. He stinks. I can't tell what smells good and what doesn't. So he's gonna get another bath, I'm sure. But what we're gonna do now is, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit, talk about the Pig Brig, my pig trap. So, love the Pig Brig, it's a great trap. The only problem is, it is a royal pain to move that trap from location to location. So, you've seen before where I've moved the trap. It takes a while. You're picking up 10 T-posts, 10 anchors, loading up the whole thing, then you gotta go move it, drive 10 T-posts in the ground, and if it's hot and then the ground's hard, it's just exhausting. Anyway, so you have to do all that, then you have to, the hooks for the straps are actually connected with the U-bolt with 2 half-inch nuts. So you have to go undo 20 nuts, take that all apart, try not to lose it in the grass and do all that. So anyway, love the trap, hate moving it. So right now I've got pigs in one area. I cannot attract them to the trap where it's set up now, no matter what I put in there. Apples, apple crush, corn, a deer block. They're just not coming up there. So I'm gonna move it. So one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna create a T-post cap. What that's gonna do is it's gonna eliminate the need for those U-bolts and those 20 nuts going around and assembling that. So that'll shave off 15, 20 minutes, depending how many parts you drop in the grass and you spend looking for them. So what that's gonna consist of is I'm gonna cut this piece of 1.5-inch pipe into 10 8-inch sections, and then I'm gonna drill a hole in it, and then we're gonna place an eye bolt in it, and instead of connecting, and I don't know if I have one, I don't have a U-bolt, but it's just a simple U-bolt that connects the T-post to the strap that then goes to the ground anchor. So this way I could just slide that on top of the T-post and that part's done. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna use the Evolution coal saw. I don't know you guys that cut metal, but this thing is awesome and they're not expensive at all. It'll cut flat bar, pipe, T-post, PTO shafts, whatever you want. So this thing's awesome. We're gonna jump in right now. We're gonna cut 10 8-inch sections, then we'll drill holes in it, and then we'll put in our bolts. So let's get to work. Of course it hit the camera. All right, so now I'm gonna cut. I got them all pre-marked already. And this saw does come with a pipe adapter, so it holds the pipe right there, nice and tight against the vise. All I smell is skunk. God, this is not good. Oh. You had to chase the skunk. All right, let's get back to it. Yeah, this saw works really well. I've used it on flat bar, T-posts, PTO shafts. Really works well. Said these are 8 inches long. So on this one, you can see we already drilled a hole, and we drilled that basically 1.5 inches from the top. And then we've got our eye bolt right here. So we've got a 5/16 eye bolt. All we're gonna do is put that in there. Put the nut on the back. We're going to tighten that up nice and tight. We'll cut off our excess right there, and then this will sit on top, and that'll pull back to the strap and then go to the ground anchor. So this eliminates a step and makes moving the trap a lot easier. So we're going to go ahead and drill these up, get them in, and then cut off our excess. All right, we knocked out 10 of them. Not too bad, went pretty fast. The saw helps, and there you have it. We have all 10 ready to go back out in the field. Yes, you still stink. So what we're gonna do is, where our trap is now, we're gonna leave those 10 T-posts in the ground, because that's probably the hardest part of moving the trap. So we'll leave those there. We'll move the net, the main part of the trap. We'll set up 10 T-posts in the back, and that way I can move the trap from back to front as needed with not as much work with the 10 T-posts. It wouldn't be bad in the winter when it's not as cold, but driving 10 T-posts and then pulling up 10 T-posts by yourself, it just adds a lot of time and stress and just effort. And trying to make this easy because I need to get rid of the pigs. They're killing me. So anyway, we got that made. We'll go out later and we'll drive our 10 T-posts, and then we'll work on moving the trap. All right, we're back out here at the Pig Brig trap. The pigs are in the back. They're not coming up front. So today we're gonna move it. We're gonna leave the T-post here in case we gotta bring it back and set it up in the front. We're gonna leave the T-post. We're gonna take everything else down. But while I'm here, I wanted to show you my DIY feeder slash trap setter. So the way the Pig Brig trap works is you leave it open like this, for things like that. You leave it open so the pigs can come in and out freely and feed. And what they're doing is they're conditioning them to go in. Get out of there, Jax. Ah. He's gonna go in there and eat. Just what I need. Anyway, so then once it's they're conditioned, you lower the trap. They go in underneath the net and they're trapped inside like a crab trap. The only problem is if you don't live on the property, you don't know when the conditioning is going to happen or not. So what we've come up with is a cellular, inside that box there's a cellular trigger, and the way it works is you can text or call the number, and when you do, it will trigger the trap. So let's see if we can do that. We're going to call it right now. So that solenoid right there is going to release that ring, and this rope is going to drop. So let's step back. Let's call the number. Boom. See it drop? Now it's set, and I can do it from anywhere in the world. So if I'm at home and I'm not up at the property and I see they've gotten conditioned, I can drop it and then head up to the property. So anyway, we'll talk about more in depth on how I made that, but that with the feeder, the box, the battery, everything you see there, about 600 bucks. So we're going to talk more about that with links and everything like that. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and move the trap. All right, we got the trap down, the feeder down. It's gooked up in the bottom, and that was my fault. I put some apple crush mixed in with the corn, thinking that would help, but all it did was gum it up at the bottom. So we're gonna take the barrel feeder back up front, give it a little rinse on the inside, clean that up, and then from there, we'll come back here. Let me see. Get him to chase his stick instead of chasing an animal. Go get it. We'll come back here, we'll pick the net up, we'll bring everything to the back, and we'll start to set up there. We'll move our food block. We dump that nasty corn there. It really stinks, so the pigs will probably show up here tonight for that, so just my luck. But we're moving it to the back where we know there's pigs, and if I do have to move it back up here, so be it. But anyway, let's go bring the barrel up to the front and get that rinsed out. All right, so this is gonna be our spot. The pigs have been coming here. We put a deer block here. That's where they've been coming. This is gonna be our spot, a little bit in the shade too. First thing I'm gonna do, rake some of this bigger debris out of the way. Get that out of the way here, move it to the side. You can see they've been rooting here a little bit. And then the first thing we got to do is get our T-post down. So the hardest part of the Pig Brig trap is getting the T-post in. And if I had another person, I could probably use the tractor and push them in, but we're going to see how hard this ground really is. So the first thing you do, you get your measuring strap here, your peg, and you put it in the center of the trap. Let's try that again. So this is going to be our measuring stick. This will be the center. So let's see. Goes out to where the black end is there. It's about a 10-foot radius, I believe. I'd like to get a little bit more in the shade right there. Right there. We'll make that the center. And I'll probably have to rake a little more stuff out. So that's going to be the center. These are 6.5-foot T-posts. Sometimes the ground's a little soft, so we go a little longer. You want them 5 feet out the ground. So I've measured, I put an orange mark right there, and that will be 5 feet. You pull this taut, you put it where it's supposed to go, and then it's time to do manual labor. All right. And the idea is don't cut the strap with awesome sauce. Don't cut the strap with the T-post. All right. That's not too bad. That is right at the mark for 5 feet. So then what we do is you take this orange strap and you hook it on the bottom of the T-post. You walk it, you make both straps tight, and that's your next T-post. Let's grab another one. See if we can get you moved over a little bit there. There. We grab the driver. So that's where that one's going. And they all face towards the center. And then drive away. Go right there. That looks good. And then we go this way. So I got a little debris right there. So real quick, we're gonna rake that out the way. This is all left over from forestry mulching. And if I'd have known I was moving the trap yesterday, I would have taken the rake and did this in the comfort of an air-conditioned cab. But so be it. Little sweat equity to get rid of the pigs. All right. That should give us a clear little circle. We'll put in one more and then we'll speed it up. So like once again, we bring both rings tight. Get our driver, put it on the mark, face the center. I don't think I would use 7-foot T-posts because they would be a bear. So. All right, 3-7 to go. We're gonna speed it up. It's a little warm here today, but anyway, we got our 10 post in. We're gonna leave our strap in the ground in the center because there is a stitch mark here. Probably can't see it, but there's a white stitch, and that's gonna be where we put our anchor stakes that go on the inside. There's 5 of these. So that's gonna go on the inside, so we'll leave that there. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna go get the actual trap and get that set up in the middle. Once that's centered in there, we'll go ahead and bring our feeder slash trigger mechanism back over and get that stood up. And then once that's in the middle, we'll raise our trap, we'll bring some bait out, and hopefully we can get these guys. So we'll be back with the trap. At the trap, we got it all set up yesterday. Got a little exhausted from the heat, but we did get it set up. One thing that you can see, we threw a block in there, we got it set up. We have it set up for conditioning. The one thing I did over here, and I'll show you, is I made a rookie mistake. And if you see on that silver plate right there, that's where our solenoid goes. It's removed right now because when I was putting it in the side-by-side, I ripped the whole wire out the inside of the solenoid. Well, it's a totally sealed solenoid and there is no fixing it. So unfortunately, for now, we're gonna have to condition the old-fashioned way, which is just lift up a side like that so they can come in and out freely. And then once they get conditioned, we'll lower it and they'll come in. So this morning, I'm just gonna refill the feeder and get that going. And then we're gonna leave this be for a while and hopefully they'll get used to it and come to it. And we'll get rid of these nuisance pigs. And if you look to the right is my new food plot. So I want to keep them off of that food plot. So we're going to climb up the ladder, which is always fun, and throw a couple bags of corn in there. So. We've got our feeder set up, and before I broke the automatic trap set, we had the solenoid, which would be holding the trap up, and then when we called the phone number, tell you what, let me get in here. It'll be easier and cooler to see if we're actually in here. Oh, apologize if I'm making you seasick. So here's our actuator right there. We 3D printed the parts, right? The solenoid would go there, but we had to order a new one because we broke the old one. And there's the box up there. So this thing automatically feeds twice a day, morning and afternoon. And then when you want to set it, you just simply find the phone number and you call it. And what it'll do is it'll dump a lot of corn on the ground and then set the trap so you're ready. So let's try it and see if it works. We're calling it. Look at that. Opens up. And it's like 15 seconds because when we set the trap, we really want to pile up the corn. And look, nice pile of corn. So one phone call sets the trap and dumps a bunch of corn to keep them happy in the trap. That's how this system works. Like I said, it's great. And it also, you set the timer for how many times a day you want to feed it. So we just do 4 seconds a time in the morning, 4 seconds in the evening. That way it's always nice and baited. And then when we're ready to set, we'll just call that number that'll set the trap, dump a bunch of corn, and we'll be ready to head up if we see anything on the camera. So right now we're gonna set up our other WiseEye camera, and I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it, but I would like to put it somewhere that's got a good view inside the trap. So let's go see where we can find out. Got the trap all set for manual deployment. We've got the WiseEye with the solar panel right there. That's looking there. It'll give us a nice shot coming in, and if there's pigs in there. Got a nice food block, which I put out for the deer and they just tore it up. So I'm thinking they like it. So I threw another one in there so we can get them in there. So I got some apples, the block. In the front, the sour corn from another feeder that got wet. And we had that apple crush in here, that didn't help. So anyway, all right, so that's pretty much setting up the Pig Brig, and getting it ready. These are our nice little adapters that we made on the top. It makes setting it up easier. It's definitely easier using those, but man, I tell you what, especially in the heat, this is not bad in the winter, but setting it up in the summer and moving it, it's a bear, especially if you're gonna move the feeder with it. So anyway, hopefully I've got about 8 or 9 pigs here. I posted some pictures up there from our camera, and hopefully we'll get them out of here. So, all right, well, that about wraps this one up. We didn't fall off the ladder. Well, we did break something. We broke the solenoid. So we broke something. That's gonna cost me 50 bucks. So anyway, we didn't hurt ourselves. We just broke a small part, and we're all set for success here in the back. So anyway, we'll update you when we start seeing pigs and we get them trapped in here. And we'll have a little fun with that. So thanks for watching, and check back with Indigo Acres. Have a great week.